Hey guys, this is Coach Parman here with the physical activity and fitness lesson, which is out of chapter 12. Um, First thing we're going to talk about in this lesson is the benefits of physical activity. First thing you need to know is what physical activity is. Physical activity is any form of movement that causes your body to use energy. Remember we talked about in the last lesson of the nutrition lesson is your main source of energy comes from carbohydrates, and this is kind of to go along with that lesson. Activity you do to burn that energy off, which is obviously good for you. It says physical activity doesn't just mean working out. It includes all kinds of activities that you do on a daily basis, such as walking to school, cleaning your room, or playing sports with your friends. There are a lot of different ways to make physical activity a part of your life and enjoy its many benefits to your health. Your physical benefits. Physical fitness, the definition of physical fitness is the ability to carry out daily tasks easily and have enough reserve energy to respond to unexpected demands. In other words, when you walk up and down a flight of stairs, are you out of breath and you're ready to go sit on a recliner? And if you are, then you're probably not very physically fit. It says you can achieve specific fitness goals through exercise. Exercise is purposeful physical activity that is planned, structured, and repetitive, and that improves or maintains physical fitness. Now, there's all different types of exercise. The book goes on, and we'll talk about this in a minute, about anaerobic and aerobic exercises, but every different exercise works different parts of your body. Running obviously works your lungs and building up your respiratory system. But at the same time, it works the muscles in your legs and in your back and that kind of thing. So, lifting weights, whatever types of weightlifting you're doing, it obviously affects that muscle group. So there's thousands of different types of exercises, and we can't talk about all of them, obviously, but we can cover the systems that each one of them does affect. So first thing is any type of aerobic exercise that gets your heart rate up. Obviously, your heart rate, and you should know this already, but your heart rate is your cardiovascular system. It says regular physical activity strengthens the heart muscle so it pumps blood more efficiently. It reduces blood pressure and lowers the levels of artery clogging cholesterol. On the same level as you're getting your heart rate up and you're running or you're swimming or you're doing anything that gets your lungs breathing harder, that will be your respiratory system. It says as your activity level increases, your lungs begin to work more efficiently, pulling in larger amounts of air and increasing the amount of oxygen delivered to your body. As a result, you can do many activities more easily. For example, running a greater distance without becoming short of breath. So that would affect your respiratory system. And then finally, the last thing, or the last system that it would affect, that exercise affects, is your musculoskeletal system, which is, in other words, your muscular system. The muscles in your body. What types of muscles are being worked with the type of exercise that you're doing. In that system, it says physical activity strengthens muscles and bones, reducing your risk of developing fragile bones as you age. Strengthening your bones and muscles can also improve your balance and coordination. So those are the three main systems that exercise affects. The mental and emotional benefits of exercise, obviously, a lot of people, when they're stressed out, completely stressed out, they love to go work out. And when they work out, it really relieves that stress. So stress relief is one benefit. Your mood enhancement, in other words, people that work out a lot of times are much happier people, a little more go-lucky people because they feel better about themselves. You get better sleep at night because you're tireder, obviously. If you run a couple miles every day, usually you feel really good, and then later on that night when you get ready for bed, it makes you sleep better. And then finally, the last thing is improved self-esteem, and that just basically when you work out or you exercise, when you see yourself in the mirror, you feel better about yourself. So those are the mental and emotional benefits. If we keep going here, out of the book, it says making time for physical activity. Now, a big part of people not exercising is they say they don't have time because they've got to go to school, or they got to go to work, or they've got to go babysit or take care of their own kids. So a lot of people have to it says setting aside an hour a day for exercise may be difficult for some busy teens. You can get the same benefits from several shorter periods of activity spread out over the course of the day. For example, engaging in 10 minutes of physical activity 6 times a day provides the same benefits as an hour-long workout. So if you could get just a short period of 10 minutes in at a time, that's the same benefits. So if we keep going, improving your fitness, we talked about your muscular strength and all that. Now, your cardiorespiratory endurance, and what that means is if you can run around the school twice, which is a mile. If you run around the entire school twice, it's a mile, and you're absolutely worn out and you can't do it anymore. If you do that every day, run a mile a day, at some point you are going to continue to be able to do more, and that's building your cardiorespiratory endurance. Your muscular strength, obviously your muscular strength is how much you can lift, how many pounds you can lift. It doesn't have anything to do with endurance, it's just your strength. How strong are you? Now, your muscular endurance is you start out doing, let's say you bench press 95 pounds, and you start out and you can only do 2 of those, and then you can't do any more. If you keep doing that every day or every other day, as you do that twice, you're going to eventually be able to build that up, and go from 2 to doing it 15 times. That's your muscular endurance. So those are the elements of fitness. As we keep going, it kind of shows some exercises, and we're not really going to get into the exercises because of you'll learn a lot of those in PE. But as we keep moving forward, it talks about building or planning a personal activity program. First thing, if you're going to build a program, or you're going to figure out what you're going to do to exercise or work out or whatever you do, you have to have fitness goals. What is your goal? Is your goal to become big and strong? Because if it's become big and strong, obviously you're going to be in the weight room more than you're going to be outside running, or around the block or down the road. So figure out what your goal is. Your goal might be I want to be able to run 3 miles without stopping. And if that's your goal, obviously you'll need to build up your cardiorespiratory endurance. So as you build your goal, you'll need to know what your personal needs are. Your personal needs, obviously, if you want to be big and strong, again, if you don't have access to a weight room, then how are you going to become big and strong? If you're going to join a gym, how much is it going to cost? And cost is one of the things that you're going to have to figure out whether or not you can afford to do that. Where you live has something to do with your personal needs. That's if you live 25 miles to the nearest gym or the nearest weight room, are you going to be able to do that every day to meet your goals? And chances are you're going to have to change something because your goals will have to change. It keeps on going down. Your schedule of your personal needs, you've got to work around or fit that into your schedule. Your fitness level, remember to start out slowly and then build your way up. And then your personal safety, just making sure that the environment around you is safe. Obviously, if you want to run 3 miles and be able to do that, obviously, you might not want to run in the middle of the woods because that's a little bit unsafe to do that. So if we keep going, it talks about aerobic and anaerobic exercises, which I mentioned earlier, but basically aerobic exercises are exercises that get your heart rate flowing, mainly running, swimming, anything to where you're breathing hard. And then anaerobic exercises are more of your muscular exercises, things that don't, they get your heart rate up, but not as much as aerobic exercises. Kind of builds muscle better than what aerobic exercises do. So that's anaerobic exercises. You'll need to know the stages of workout. The stages of a workout start with your warm-up. No matter what workout you're going to do, you'll need to warm up. So warm-up is a gentle cardiovascular activity that prepares the muscles for work. Usually a warm-up is maybe walking, maybe doing a little jogging first to get your muscles going, to get your heart rate up. After you do your warm-up, then you'll go into what whatever workout you're going to do. The book goes on and talks about the FIT formula, and this is part of your workout, the FITT formula. And this is what it stands for. The F is the frequency of workouts. In other words, how many times are you going to do that per week? You're going to do it 3 days a week or whatever. The I is the intensity of the workouts. You've got to push yourself hard enough to where it's going to build up, your body's going to build up endurance of whatever you're doing. The type, the T, next T, or the first T is type of activity. It says vary your activities throughout the week to build different elements of fitness. In other words, no matter what the workout is, do something different. Don't do the exact same thing every single time, because then you're just going to get used to doing that activity and nothing's ever going to change. And then the last thing is time. It says your time or duration of workouts. It's to build cardiovascular fitness, keep your heart rate within the target range of at least 20 minutes. Strength training sessions should take 20 to 30 minutes. The next thing and the last thing of a workout is the cool down. The cool down is a low-level activity that prepares your body to return to a resting state. Most of the time, a cool down is a walk. Walk around, walk down the road. If you're in a gym, walk around the gym, whatever it is. But the cool down is to get your heart, instead of going from a hard workout to just stopping, that's bad for your heart. So the cool down is to get your heart to calm down slowly. So last thing, and the last lesson of this chapter is the fitness, safety, and avoiding injuries. It says safety first. While getting regular physical activity benefits your health, it is possible to injure yourself. A screening before beginning a physical activity program can identify diseases and disorders that could make it unsafe to participate in some activities. Other ways to protect yourself during activity are, and it goes on the list several. Main thing is, before every sport, all of the athletes at every school have to get a physical, and that physical kind of tells them if they have anything wrong with them to make sure they're healthy enough to participate in physical activity, and kind of that needs to go along with everybody. So if we keep going, make sure you have the right equipment. If you're planning on doing some type of, say you're going to be a runner and you want to run 3 miles, you don't need to run in flip-flops. You need to have running shoes. So just whatever the workout is, make sure you have the right equipment to do that workout. Make sure the weather is safe. Again, let's say you're going to be a runner or a swimmer and it's 30 degrees outside. You don't want to go outside in a pair of running shorts and a tank top shirt and run in 30-degree weather. You'll end up getting sick. So watch the weather and then adjust accordingly. Next thing is just the minor injuries that you can get. You can get blisters while you're running on your feet, and all of you probably had those at some point. You can get muscle cramps, strains if you step on a sidewalk wrong. Those are minor injuries. Some of the major injuries are fractures, dislocations, and a concussion. Fractures are obviously broken bones, which a lot of you have had. Dislocations, a joint can dislocate from itself and pop out. And then a concussion is obviously to your head. A concussion is where your brain basically gets rattled inside of your skull. So that's the physical activity lesson. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully we'll get to do this again, and I'll see you soon.